As we wait for election results, our anxiety might in fact be noticed by our children. Kids are most likely getting an earful about politics, both at home and at school. So how do we ease the tension and talk to them about what's happening in the world around them? Pediatric mental health expert and psychologist Dr. Roseann Capanna-Hodge is here with a few ideas. Good morning. It's great to see you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me speak on children's mental health.
Of course, I am a parent myself, and I know that I'm very open and have a very fluid dialogue with my children. But I have some contemporaries who are afraid to have the conversation, so they simply do not talk about politics or the election process with their children. What effect does that have, and how do they have that conversation?
Yeah, kudos to you for bringing this up with your children and just having it be an organic conversation, because big issues are around us all the time. And we do need to have these conversations organically. But if you haven't had that conversation, there's no way to avoid it in the next few days. We don't know how long this is going to take. So how do you start it? First of all, you want to check in with your child and talk to them in a really developmentally appropriate way and find out, what do they know? Do they have any questions for you? And you want to ask questions that aren't yes or no, like, do you have questions? You want to say things like, what did you hear that's going on in the election? And find out and open up that conversation, because that's where the best parenting happens, when we dialogue.
I couldn't agree with you more. And, I'm very, my children know where I stand politically. And I wonder, is that detrimental in the long run? Because I do tell them, you can decide whatever you want to decide. But I think they're observing me and seeing, oh, well, this is what she stands for. This is what she believes in. And I, to this day, say, being a journalist prepared me to be a parent, because I try to just give them the information and let them decide, except when it comes to my political leaning. So what effect will that have on them in the long term?
Yeah, I mean, it is always a great idea to talk to kids about your political beliefs, because our political beliefs are so tied to our values. And we should be talking about our family values on a regular basis. And so, but what we want to do, just like what you did, is we want to share our political beliefs. We want to really give those concrete examples. For example, saying, I really love Congressman Smith because he got teacher training for the whole state on dyslexia, and that helped children and children's mental health or physical health. We want to make it real for them, especially younger kids, because they're not really sure what politics are. And to just start a conversation without an anchor is very hard for them. And we always want to keep our emotions in check. And so that kids don't feel like, wow, this is such a sensitive conversation, I can't talk to mom or dad about it.
Right.
That's always a bad idea, right?
And I always assume that what my kids hear me say, they think it's gospel. So I feel obligated to tell them the truth as I know it. There are a lot of children who are getting their political information, or information in general, from social media. And how do we effectively communicate to them that that is not always based in truth or based in fact?
Yeah, so it all goes back to providing the belief system and the anchor and talking about your values. Because when kids understand that and have a base, no matter what the issue is, politics, drugs, any big issue, then they have a place to fill in the gaps. There's no way to avoid getting information from our friends and social media. We did too. We didn't have social media. We passed notes. Do you remember?
Right.
So, but we want our kids to be independent and have their own minds, and we want to open up the table to discussion and have differences of opinion. I know that growing up, I had different political views than my parents, and they were always very open for discussion. And I think that's really important in the message here, that we want our kids to develop our own belief systems, but we also want them to really understand what our family values are.
Dr. Capanna-Hodge, thank you so much for your insight this morning. I think we'll be in it for the long haul. Great to see you.
Take care. Thank you.